just wrapped up week 8 of the Pantry Challenge, and I wanted to give you an update on how much we've spent so far. I think it was at the end of week 4, I went to the grocery store. I spent $37.06. I have not spent any more money on groceries since then. I did, however, go to the grocery store one time, and I bought more of those pomegranate seeds, specifically to put in the freeze dryer. That's a whole nother subject. That's a whole nother story. That's going to be on an upcoming video. But we did not eat any of that this month, so I don't count that. $37.06. That's what we needed to supplement what we had for feeding us the past 8 weeks. I think I'm going to do 2 more weeks of the Pantry Challenge, and I'm going to try to not go to the grocery store at all in those 2 weeks. I just wanted to share that quick update and say thanks for watching. Tonight for dinner, we are gonna have breakfast. I'm gonna make a bunch, so we'll have extra throughout the week as well. My inspiration for tonight in cleaning out the pantry and the freezer is this pancake mix is one of the things that I wanna get out of the pantry. This Tupperware container was frozen. It was a mystery surprise. It's been defrosting in the fridge. I opened it up and it's fried apples. Sausage strips, maple flavored. Also in the freezer that I wanted to use up. I had bacon, so I figured let's just have breakfast for dinner and we'll have some for the week. And then also I'm determined to use this white lily flour. I specifically bought this flour for this recipe, the signature biscuits from GW Finn's. It is our favorite restaurant in New Orleans. I've never made them before. I will put a copy of the recipe in the community page, and I am going to double the recipe. So I have 3 cups of milk. I'm going to need 8 cups of flour, and he says he uses white lily. That's why I bought white lily. I have a 1.5 cups of lard, and then sugar. I have a 1/2 cup. The original recipe makes 2.5 to 3 dozen. I'm not quite sure how many we'll end up with. Cajun seasoning, fried apples, eggs, bacon, and bacon sausage. This is gonna be plenty for tonight and probably tomorrow. I decided I'm gonna put a lid on this bowl and put it in the refrigerator, and we're gonna eat on this throughout the week. If they even slightly taste like the ones served at GW Finn's, we will be in for a treat. Bake for 15 to 18 minutes at 400 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and start at 15 minutes and see what they look like. After 15 minutes, they are not ready on the top, but they are ready on the bottom, and I do not want them to burn. Flip them for the last 3 minutes. I'm glad I checked them when I did. I'm sure they're going to be delicious, but my oven cooks a little bit hotter, and when you follow someone else's recipe, you never know until you do it yourself how you have to adjust according to what you have. It's kind of funny because these look like little mini pancakes, but I'm going to put them back in the oven for 3 more minutes. The biscuits, my husband has already tasted one. He said the texture is a little different. It's crunchier because of the way I had to cook them, and they're flatter because I had to turn them upside down so they wouldn't burn on the bottom. Next time, I think I'm going to try baking them at 375. Yeah, breakfast for dinner is always good. It's a couple of days later. I just baked the second batch of biscuits, and I wanted to show you the difference. I baked 2 separate batches, some at 375 and some at 350. Plus, I had reserved the bacon grease to make bacon gravy, and that's what this is. So this is the one that was baked at 375. I did bake these for the full 18 minutes. They're still kind of flat, and the texture is different at the top, but I think that's because the mix sat in the refrigerator for a couple of days. Okay, now let's break it open. It's almost like a muffin top. This is what it looks like. Let's give it a taste. The taste on this one is spot on to GW Finn's, even though GW Finn's biscuits looks different. Okay, now this one I baked at 350. I did do a light coating of butter, and I also baked this one for 18 minutes. Now this one is not quite brown on the bottom. This reminds me more of bread. It's very interesting to me how they all taste slightly different based on the texture. The next time I make them, I'll make them at 375 for 18 minutes fresh to see if I can get the look the same. This morning's breakfast, the GW Finn biscuits with an egg scramble. Let's mix all this together and make some scrumptious muffins. This is like half the size of a typical cake mix, and I'm pouring it into the coffee and zucchini. No butter, no oil. Now sometimes you can substitute applesauce in baked goods. You can also substitute zucchini. Okay, let's see. This says 2 9-inch round cake pans, so maybe we will have enough. Just stirred it by hand. Now I'm gonna put a splash of vanilla. I'm gonna add 2 eggs. I did decide to beat these eggs before I added them since I'm not beating the cake itself. Stir in the eggs. Now we're gonna add the chocolate chips. I'm adding a scoop, maybe a 1/2 cup. Give it a stir, and then I'm gonna let this rest for about 5 minutes. I'm gonna preheat the oven to 350, and I'm gonna bake for 18 to 22 minutes. 5 minutes has passed. The oven is almost ready. And I used coconut oil spray in one tray, but not the other. Both silicone mats fit on this one extra large tray. I got this at Aldi quite a few months ago, and I am happy to have it. I use it a lot. Okay, so they did not rise. If anything, they shrunk. I've made these before with regular cake mix and they rose. This must be the ones that I oiled. Oh yeah, see, these are stuck. This looks extremely moist, and I'm curious if it's the outside because I sprayed the coconut oil spray. So, oh, look how moist the inside is. Okay, let's give it a taste. Reminds me of hot chocolate, but the texture is like warm pudding or jello combination. So it's extremely moist and dense. I'm gonna let them cool and see how they taste tomorrow with a cup of coffee. Hi friend, tonight for dinner we are gonna make a Mexican style street corn chowder. This is something I had in the freezer that I accidentally dropped whenever I was doing my inventory, so it really needs to be used up. This is not enough to feed my whole family for a meal, so I decided, well, we'll just turn it into a soup. This is 1.5 pounds of frozen pre-cooked chicken from the Instapot. I think I'm only gonna use about half of this, so probably 3/4 of a pound. For the base, we are gonna use this Better Than Bouillon roasted chicken flavor and a couple of quarts of water, this frozen onion, diced green chilies, creamed corn, a handful of potatoes. Usually I like to bake the potatoes when I'm making a soup. I'm not doing that this time. I'm just gonna dice them. Some Cajun seasoning, a tri-bean blend. This has black beans in it, so I decided we'll just add more black beans. A little bit of cumin, a little bit of paprika, and some cream. We're just gonna put it in a pot and let it cook for a few hours. If I like it, this may be something that I transfer to making in the Instapot or the crock pot. But for the first time ever trying it, I would never had this before. I'm just making it up as I go, so we're gonna try it on the stovetop in the Dutch oven. Here is our Mexican corn chowder with chicken. It's the first time I've ever made it. I did put the cream. It is extremely thick. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. This is good. This is a winner. I served with cornbread and then I garnished with freeze-dried cilantro. Everyone else is having cheese on top of theirs. Either way, I think it's fantastic. Tonight for dinner, we're keeping it simple and easy. We are gonna do Adele's smoked chicken and apple sausage. This is what I had in the freezer, so that's what we're gonna use. It had a sell-by date of December 6th, but it's been in the freezer. I took them out this morning and they are perfectly soft. We're gonna pair that with Wahlburgers wall sauce. This has been in the fridge. We barely just tasted it. We've never used it on anything, so we are definitely gonna use this. And then I'm still working on using the sweet and spicy Tabasco, so we're gonna use that. I have a little bit of purple onion. Originally, I thought I was gonna caramelize the onions and we're gonna do onions and jalapenos, but I changed my mind because we had this sauerkraut in the back of the refrigerator. It's a combination of cabbage and apple. It has a lot of celery seed in it, and to me, it's a game changer. My family doesn't even like sauerkraut, but they like this. So we're gonna go ahead and keep the onion raw, and it will also be crunchy. And then I took out some sweet potatoes. I'm gonna wash these up, and I'm gonna make sweet potato fries. Since I like to do the fries in the air fryer, I think I'm gonna try air frying these chicken sausage links. And then for a side, we have these dill pickles. Simple and easy. The deli rolls were split on the side, which made it perfect. This is what the sausage looks like straight out of the air fryer. I air fried them for 14 minutes at 400 degrees. And I did use a fork to poke the outside of the skin before I put them in the air fryer. I air fried the sweet potatoes with the sausage, but I also air fried the sweet potatoes for 5 minutes before I put the sausage in. That way the air fryer could preheat and the sweet potatoes could cook a little bit longer. Now I did rub the sweet potatoes with avocado oil and this Kinder seasoning blend, salt, pepper, and garlic before I put them in the air fryer. Tonight for dinner, we are gonna cook some greens. This is turnip greens from the garden. We're not gonna cook these greens as a side. We're gonna turn it into the main course. The goal is to use up everything that we need to use up. And this is one of those things. And this is one of those things. And we have an abundance of this in the yard. So we're gonna turn this into a meal. This is something new. I've never made greens this way. We are gonna use diced honey roasted turkey breast. This is 2 pounds that I had gotten on clearance for just a couple of dollars. It's been in the freezer for a long time. It definitely needs to be used up. I put it in the refrigerator last night to thaw. I'm probably only gonna use 3/4 of this for tonight, and I'll save 1/4 and make a pasta salad with it later on. Coconut sugar, chicken broth, some coconut milk, cumin, jalapeno chili powder, an onion, 4 cloves of garlic, 1 square of frozen ginger, Cajun seasoning, and smoked paprika. So we're gonna cook this down together, and then we're gonna serve over brown rice. This is some brown rice that needs to be used up, so we're gonna make that tonight. Oh, I just found an open bag of sweet peas. Probably got about half the bag. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this too. So we're just gonna have a pot full of yummy goodness. I sauteed the onion in a little bit of avocado oil. I'm gonna add 3/4 of this honey roasted turkey breast. It's about 1.5 tablespoons of coconut sugar, tablespoon of my homemade Cajun seasoning, jalapeno chili powder, smoked paprika, a little bit of cumin. Give it a stir. Now we're gonna add our greens. These are gonna cook down. Oops, I dropped a couple. So this pot is overflowing full, and in a matter of minutes, it's gonna be hardly anything. It's about 3 minutes later and the greens have already cooked down. Now we're gonna add our chicken broth. I'm gonna add garlic and ginger. I want easy and convenience. I want it to be ready as soon as possible. And the sweet peas are frozen, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the sweet peas and the coconut milk now. And then just let it cook for 30 minutes. So I just added the frozen peas. If I had turmeric close by, I probably would add a little bit of turmeric. I do have some in the bottom of the cabinet, but I don't feel like digging for it right now. When you're busy and you just want to get dinner on the table, sometimes you just make do with what you got in front of you. All right, now I'm gonna add the coconut milk. It's gonna be kind of like a curry. It smells good. All right, now I'm gonna put the lid on and let this simmer for about 25 minutes. 25 minutes later, okay, it looks ready. Oh, that's really good. I just tasted it so I could see if I wanted to adjust the seasoning. We really like spice, so I think I want to add a little cayenne to this. But besides that, the flavor is phenomenal. Before I put it in the plate, I want to show you how much this is thickened up. It's almost like a stew. Dinner is served. I had a hard time deciding if I wanted a spoon or a fork. I decided on a spoon. It just reminds me of comfort food. I think it's going to be phenomenal. But let's taste it together and find out. There we go. That's a little bit of everything. This is phenomenal. Wow. Okay, we will definitely make this again. We may not use the same type of ham or turkey. That was turkey. I don't typically buy that, but we will definitely make this again. This would be delicious with any type of greens. All right, give it a try, guys. If you do, you won't be disappointed. So I browned the onion. Now I'm gonna add the pumpkin bisque. And I'm gonna use a little bit of the vegetable broth to rinse out this jar. And the cauliflower soup. Now this is not all the way defrosted, even though it was in the refrigerator last night. Okay, I'm gonna add the coconut milk, and then I'm gonna pour a little bit of vegetable broth in here just to get all the pumpkin bisque out of here. And then I'll see how much more liquid I wanna add, if any. So far, all we have is the pumpkin bisque and the cauliflower soup. I opened the coconut milk, took out a couple of tablespoons. Now I'm gonna add the rest. I took the vegetable broth and I filled the pumpkin bisque jar up about halfway, put the lid back on, and I shook it so that way all of the pumpkin bisque would come out as well. And I think that's plenty of liquid. I'm gonna season with a tablespoon of my homemade Cajun seasoning. If you don't like spice or Cajun seasoning, then just season with the seasonings of your choice. And I'm also gonna add some smoked paprika. This may change the color. I have this on low heat, and I'm gonna cover and simmer for 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes. I turned it off, took the lid off, and tasted it. I like the smooth texture, and I think it's gonna be very filling. It is good, but I felt like it was missing something. So I went to the pantry and I looked through the shelves. First, I thought about adding some red lentil penne pasta, but then I thought, no, that's gonna change the texture altogether, and I like the smooth texture. So then I found this tahini, and I decided to add about 2 tablespoons of this. I gave it a stir, and then I tasted it, and it tastes really good. This is the first time I make this. It does not taste like pumpkin and it does not taste like cauliflower. It just has a smooth, clean taste, but this gives it a little bit of earthiness, or it grounds it a little bit. I think the flavors complement each other. Okay, so this is what the soup looks like before we put the toppers. I wanted to show y'all, this is how much water is left in the pitcher that I did not use. So I only used this much with a teaspoon of the Better Than Bouillon vegetable base. That's what I put in the pumpkin biscuit. I took a little bit of that coconut milk and then I added just a drop of coconut water so I could thin it out. So we're gonna top with coconut milk and coconut water, a little bit of paprika, some croutons, and then the salad topper, and then the Tabasco sweet and spicy. And this is a little bit smoky. I did not want the big chunks of croutons, so I just broke up a couple of croutons, and I don't like big chunks of cheese, so I just grabbed a little bit of the shreds at the bottom. I think the first thing I want to do is sprinkle the cream. Now I'm gonna shake up the hot sauce and we're gonna sprinkle the hot sauce. This is sweet and spicy. It's not spicy at all, but it's a little smoky. To me, it's not spicy. Some people might think it's spicy. Like that. Now we're gonna add a handful of seeds. It's pumpkin, sunflower. There's actually a couple of cranberries in there. Now we're gonna go ahead and add our croutons and our cheese. Now we're gonna give it a taste. I'm excited. I'm just gonna mix mine up, not keep it pretty. I wanted it pretty for the presentation, but when it comes time to eat it, I wanna taste everything all together. Let's give this a taste. Oh, it's creamy and rich. This is gonna be great as a complete meal. It's not all pretty anymore, but it's delicious. There we go. I've just got a pumpkin seed, or I don't know if it was a sunflower seed or a pumpkin seed, but wow, this is really tasty. It's rich and creamy. I'm so happy I added the tahini. The flavors all complement each other nicely, and not one flavor is overpowering over the other. It's just blended together to make, I don't know, something new and scrumptious. Okay, so it's pretty thick. Let's give it another taste. All the things you want in a winter meal, plus I can't stop eating it. Plus it's heavy enough to be a filling entree without the meat. This is really yummy. If you don't have the pumpkin bisque, just try using pumpkin. And if you don't have cauliflower soup, just try using cauliflower. In fact, I am gonna make this again next year in the fall and the winter. And when I do, I probably won't have the pumpkin bisque or the cauliflower soup. I'll just have to use the real thing, which is fine with me. But the flavors are that good. I will make it again. The problem is I have so many wonderful things I like to make again. My meal rotation tends to be more seasonal rather than weekly or monthly, unless I'm in a really, really busy season, and then it's just easy to have a weekly or a monthly rotation. All right, guys, this is a keeper. It's yummy. Thumbs up. Give it a try. Tonight for dinner, my son is making chicken quesadillas. We have a half a bag of chicken left. This is the rest of the tortillas that we had taken out of the freezer a week or two ago that need to be used up. A couple of jars of homemade salsa, freeze-dried cilantro, butter, some frozen guacamole that needs to be used up, and this frozen cheddar cheese. A great way to use up a bunch of these ingredients, and it's super fast and easy. I'm so thankful my son cooked. As much as I enjoy cooking for the family, it's so nice to get a break every now and then. He made chicken and cheese quesadillas. We made a copycat version of the Taco Bell sauce, and these are the ingredients that we used. It also has onion and garlic powder in it. A splash of the sriracha and a splash of the Tabasco sauce. Then this is the copycat Taco Bell sauce and homemade salsa. Quick and easy. And very delicious. Thank you, thank you. This is a kid favorite, a crowd favorite. It's so easy. I don't know why we don't eat this more often. This is chicken soup, the lazy version. When you don't want to deplete all of your homemade chicken broth, you could do this in the Instapot. I want to do more than what the Instapot will make, so I'm going to do mine in a 12 or 14 quart stock pot. Okay, this is a small guinea that we grew here, probably about 4 pounds. It's still frozen. We're going to put it in the pot as is. Along with the guinea, I have fresh parsley. I only have 2 carrots. I think this is what I am missing the most from this pantry challenge. This is the second time I don't have as much carrots as I want. So we do have carrots growing. Oh, my wonderful husband planted carrots about a week and a half ago, but it'll be a while before they're ready. Frozen mixed vegetables, an onion, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, cayenne. We want a lot of cayenne because we're starting to not feel very good. I have a little bit of my Cajun seasoning, which is salt, pepper, garlic, cayenne, piece of a frozen lemon, and as much garlic as you can tolerate. This is a bowl full, probably about 20-25 cloves of garlic. 2 frozen bunches of celery, probably about 10 stalks. This is what I have. I'm gonna turn it into a nutritious soup. We're gonna do this the lazy, easy way. We're gonna put all this stuff in the pot, let it cook all day, and then pull the bones out later if we feel good. If we don't feel good, we'll just pull the bones out of our plate. I'm gonna add apple cider vinegar, lemon, and garlic. This is our easy, lazy guinea soup. I did debone the guinea. You can see the big chunks of garlic. This is our get well soon soup. And we put as much cayenne pepper as we can handle, so this is spicy. Let me give it a taste. Just what the doctor ordered. This is really good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed watching what we ate week 8. And if you're interested in seeing how I came up with the idea to cook those meals, you could check out the video that I just posted on how to meal plan the fast and easy way. All right, guys, until next time, bye.